Hello Canastota, I'm Sean Bissetta, Superintendent of Canastota Central Schools, and this is the weekly video update for Friday, November 6th. As you probably already know, we were notified on Wednesday afternoon that a staff member at Peterborough Elementary tested positive for COVID. Working in concert with the Madison County Department of Health, we made the decision to move Peterborough to a remote schedule for Thursday, November 5th to perform an intensive cleaning and disinfecting of the building. We were pleased to return Peterborough to a regular in-person schedule this morning. Once again, I want to express appreciation for the cooperation from our families as we had to make schedule adjustments with very short notice. And I really want to thank our staff members for finding ways to support students in spite of the curveballs that they faced during this challenge. Despite the challenges, our staff and students continue to press on and continue learning. As I have stated numerous times, we aren't naive to the fact that we will have obstacles along the way as we press forward, as most districts have. The numbers tell us that the virus is in the central New York community and probably will be for quite some time. That's why we will continue to adhere to strict distancing measures, masks, and cleaning protocols we've operated under all year so far. We feel that this is important to provide, that it will be important to provide students with in-person instruction during the times when the virus is not directly in our school community. Again, it's about finding the right balance needed to keep staff and students safe by taking all of the reasonable precautions, and it's also about making sure that they can continue to learn. Our plan to gradually bring back our K-6 students continues, with Robert Street Elementary scheduled to return to everyday in-person instruction beginning on Monday, November 16th. Preparing for the return of Robert Street has been no small task, as Mr. Faustino and the Robert Street staff have been diligently working to make adjustments in room configuration and scheduling adjustments. Information will be coming to families in the upcoming days regarding important details of what the return to everyday in-person instruction will look like at Robert Street. We're looking forward to the 16th. One final word on the COVID situation. It is extremely important that all families are familiar with the recently revised travel ban instituted in New York State. A message from our school nurses is going out to all of our families, reminding them of possible implications for returning to school if you travel outside of New York or any of our border states. Links to relevant sources of information regarding the travel restrictions and quarantine standards are included in that correspondence. Please check it out. I'd like to also inform you of a special informational session scheduled for next Tuesday, November 10th. The virtual session will follow a format similar to the previous sessions we conducted over the summer and at the beginning of the school year. We'll spend some time outlining the most recent developments related to the modified schedules in our schools, and then spend the balance of the time answering questions from participants. I hope you can join us on Tuesday. The session will begin at 4:45 and run until approximately 5:30. Some other major announcements also happened in the past couple of days impacting K-12 education. Just yesterday, the State Education Department announced that the administration of the January Regents exams has been canceled due to the continuing pandemic. There has still not been any announcement regarding the June Regents or the 3 through 8 state assessments. Again, there will be no January 2021 Regents exam administration. Also, Section 3 athletics confirmed that the winter sports season will be delayed with the projected start date of Monday, December 14th. Section 3 is still waiting for clarification from the state on requirements and parameters associated with competition in the winter season. As of now, the plan is to still have a winter season and added season labeled or entitled the Fall Sports 2 season, which would begin in March, and then also a regular spring season that would not start until April 19th. Again, there are still a lot of unanswered questions regarding athletic competition for the balance of the year, and we'll update you as details become clarified. In the meantime, I really want to compliment our athletes and our coaches for doing a really great job during our fall season. Many people were concerned about whether or not the season could even happen, but so far so good. Finally, I'd like to close by talking about the importance of expectations and choice in the educational process. Often people focus on the obstacles and challenges they face. This is true especially during a pandemic like we're dealing with now. Let's try to think of it in another way. Great challenges open the door for great opportunities. The coming months will serve to separate the schools and communities who adjust and adapt to the challenges from those who are overwhelmed by the challenge, or who focus on what they can't do as opposed to what they actually can do. This is an opportunity for our schools to set ourselves apart from the pack. We're doing that now by finding ways to get kids back in school, finding creative ways to engage students remotely, and yes, even during a pandemic, working on ways to create a more unified, coordinated foundation for a K-12 instructional program. So here's my final thought for the week, and it has to do with the importance of effort and opportunity. Researchers David Perkins and Lauren Resnick engaged in an interesting research project around the concept of what they call effort-based IQ. To boil it down, they focused on finding out what the major factors were in determining the level of achievement students attain. Was their achievement a function of their IQ? Was it a function of how hard they worked? Or was it possibly linked to the level of success their parents had in school? So, what did they conclude about what determines achievement in students? They determined that IQ, in spite of what many have believed for years, accounts for only about 25% of what determines achievement. Actually, an equal amount, another 25% of achievement, is determined by the types of opportunities and experience that students have. This is encouraging because this is something that we can control, and as it turns out, is every bit as impactful as IQ levels. And finally, 50% of achievement ties directly to a student's level of self-efficacy and self-esteem. So in other words, the ability to view yourself as confident and prepared to handle challenging and complex tasks and challenges. Again, something that we can control if we're determined to. We have the best jobs in the world. Every day, we have the opportunity to help a student become everything that they can be. That is both a huge opportunity and a huge responsibility. So does this mean that we need to work hard? You bet it does. Because we're Canastota and we don't expect to be average. And our actions, far more than our words, will propel us to our spot as the premier district in our region. So let's put our nose to the grindstone and collectively do the work necessary to make sure our students have the opportunities they deserve. Yes, even during a pandemic. Let's get to work. Next week, we'll talk more about specific examples of the work that is underway in making this happen. In the meantime, enjoy the warm weather this weekend, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Raiders.